Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, is an HBO documentary. I heard really good things, and I have Crave right now because I'm in Canada. We have Crave, not HBO Max. But I put on this documentary film because I'm a fan of Christopher Reeve, and this one gives you a little bit more insight onto who he was as not just a Superman, the actor, from the 1978 films, but also he was an activist, and he did other things. This documentary does a really good job of sort of giving you a wider, viewpoint of who he was. We start with the accident, and then we go back before the accident. He went to acting school with Robin Williams, and they were really close friends. And people often post on Facebook or Instagram the story about Christopher Reeve having depression after his horse accident, and Robin Williams pretending to be a weird Russian doctor who comes in to cheer him up. So they were almost like brothers, and it really hurt Robin when the accident happened and when he passed. But this documentary goes pretty in depth. You got interviews with his son and close personal friends, and you get a lot of backstory about how he got Superman, how he sort of had to do... after the success of Superman, he also grabbed a lot of smaller roles. He really went for like the more obscure stuff. He wasn't going for... He always modeled himself as a classic actor, and a lot of people looked down on him for taking Superman. But Superman was the OG story, right? It was the first comic book movie. Like, I'm not including the serials and stuff from like the 40s and stuff like that. Superman was like the first big budget comic book movie with like big actors in it. Without Superman and its sequels, we wouldn't have Supergirl, we wouldn't have the Tim Burton Batman movies, we wouldn't have Blade, and then we wouldn't have the MCU or DCU, really. I mean, a lot of people thought the comic books were sort of lowly and not worthy of cinema, but 1978 Superman was the one that sort of started it all, with like the legitimacy of Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman and newcomer Christopher Reeve. And we also get a lot of more in-depth of like the accident, how it happened, and like the uncomfortable discussion of wanting to pull the plug, and his wife being the pillar of his sort of support. And we get some interviews with Christopher Reeve as well, and like what he did after the accident, how he started charities and activism for people with disabilities, as well as he also wrote 2 books after. So the movie documentary made me sad because I do love Christopher Reeve. I've only seen a few of his other movies that aren't Superman, like Death Trap, and I think that's it. But it's a good documentary because it definitely gives you more a roundabout, sort of rounded viewpoint of who he was as an actor and a man and a family man. He was not to be put on a pedestal because of Superman, but you get to see who he was. A more sort of insight, and I really like that. So this is a really solid, well-balanced documentary. I give it a 7 out of 10.